Hi there everyone, Spider-Kel back again. Back this time for a different sort of review. A review I've wanted to do for a long time, but I just haven't had the time or really had the energy to kind of do as good a job of it as I'd like to do. I'd like to review a book today. The book in particular I would like to review is this one, Lou's on First by Chris Costello. Now, this book is basically based on one half of the comedy duo Abbott and Costello. It's based on Lou Costello's life, as written by his youngest daughter, Chris Costello. Now, for myself, as a kid, I remember sitting with my granddad and watching Abbott and Costello films and shows. The first one I ever watched kind of scared me a bit. The first time I ever watched them, they actually did scare me because it was kind of like it involved a witch in a haunted house. I can't quite remember what it was. I know it wasn't a film, but it was part of one of the shows, and it scared me. So then the next time when I went round and they said, "Oh, Abbott Costello's back on," I was like, a bit scared, a bit skeptical. But I watched it again. Hair's falling out. Watched it again and loved them, and I've loved them ever since. And now I love a lot of older comedy. Abbott and Costello, Marx Brothers, Norman Wisdom, Morecambe and Wise. I love that sort of comedy. That's the sort of comedy I grew up with and watched, and mainly with my granddad and my parents. But yeah, Abbott and Costello will always be my favourites. Maybe because they were the first ones I watched, or maybe just because I thought, or I think their comedy is just timeless. It's fantastic. Now, this book, as I said before, is being written by his youngest daughter, Chris Costello, and I have to just keep. All I have to say is just you have to read it. If you're an Abbott and Costello fan, you have to read this book. It's incredible how for three-quarters of the book as well, um, Chris hasn't even been born. She's the youngest daughter, as I said, and she hasn't even been born for three-quarters of the book, but she fills it with information and details and such heartfelt passion, that it just Lou Costello springs to life on the pages. He really does. It's it really is like just traveling along his life, literally alongside him. She writes with such detail through all the good points of his life, his career, how he got to where he was, how he met Bud Abbott, the relationship between them, which surprised me that it wasn't as close as on screen. Mind you, on screen, Bud Abbott was always slapping the Costello across the face, so I suppose in that context it was a lot better. No, but like as I said before, I like Abbott, Morecambe and Wise, Eric and Ernie, and I always knew that they had a very close friendship. That they were very good friends as well as on screen. You know, and I always just assumed that Bud Abbott and Lou Costello were like that, and they weren't. They were good friends. They worked well together. They got along, but not all the time. And they broke up a good two. I think it was about two times they broke up, and there's a lot of times in it where you read how they actually weren't really that close. They would towards the end they would come together, they would do a scene, then they'd walk off together separately, not saying a word to each other, but they would always perform. I found that fantastic. How they weren't quite steptoe and son, but they weren't as much Morecambe and Wise. They were kind of in the middle. Um, but as well, through all the hard points of his life, like the death of his son Butch, that was such a horrific thing to happen to anyone, but for it to happen to such a warm man was such a travesty. And when I read it, I already knew kind of bits and pieces about Butch. I knew what had happened, but the, Chris Costello went into so much detail that it really hit home to the point where I was reading it with a tear in my eye. I will openly admit it. It was just such a moving, such a sad event. It really was. And then it comes on that from that point, things just weren't quite the same. And you feel the changes. Sorry, that's my phone. You feel the changes. You really do feel the change in the life. And it's incredible how, as I've said, you read the book and you feel like you're traveling on the journey with Lou Costello. You really feel like you are there with him in his life. Fantastic. To the point that at the end of the book, I didn't want to finish it because I knew he'd die. Which sounds quite weird, I know, but I mean, Lou Costello's been dead for many, many years. And God rest his soul, fantastic man. But I did not want to finish the book because it really did feel like he was there. I was there with him and he was just going to die. It was horrible. But such a fantastic book. I'd love to hear comments as well from people who've also read this book. Did you feel the same way? Did you react the same way I have? Because it was so amazing. If you're a fan of Abbott and Costello, you have to read this book. It's amazing, it really is. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm trying to keep this review short because I don't want to finish it with me. I don't feel that's right. I want to finish it with Abbott and Costello, and I want to finish it with their best routine. In fact, not just their best routine, but what I think is the best comedy routine anyone has ever done. So I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you haven't read the book, read it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, take care and enjoy it.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You're going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Look, you got a first baseman?
Certainly.
Who's playing first?
That's right.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
All I'm trying to find out is the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The guy that gets the money.
That's it.
Who gets the money on first base?
He does, every dollar. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Look, all I want to know is when you sign up the first baseman, how does he sign his name to the
Who?
contract? The guy.
Who?
How does he sign his name?
That's how he signs it.
Who?
Yes.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time.
Well, don't change the players.
I'm not changing nobody.
Take it easy, buddy.
I'm only asking you, who's the guy on first base?
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, what's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Oh, he's on third. We're not talking about him. Now, let's forget about
Now, how did I get on third base?
Why, you mentioned his name.
If I mention a third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No, who's playing first?
What's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back on third again.
Help
Look,
it.
will you stay on third base
All
and
right.
don't go off it?
All right, nobody want to know.
Now, who's playing third base?
Why do you insist on putting who on third base?
What am I putting on third?
What is on second?
You don't want who on second?
Who is on first?
I don't know. Third base! Look, you got outfield?
Sure.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me who's playing left field.
Who is playing first?
I'm not. Stay out of the infield.
Don't mention the names out here.
I want to know what's the guy's name in left field.
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on
Who's
second.
on first?
I don't know. Third
Third base.
base. And the left fielder's name?
Why?
Because.
Oh, he's center field.
He is here.
These players as well as I do.
Look. You got a pitcher on the team?
Sure.
The pitcher's name?
Tomorrow?
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you,
Then
man.
go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow you're going to tell me who's pitching?
Now listen, who is not pitching?
I'll
Who is-
break your arm, you say. Who's on first? I want to know what's the pitcher's name.
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third
Third
base.
Got a catcher?
Certainly.
The catcher's name.
Today.
And tomorrow's pitcher.
Now you've got it.
All we got is a couple of days on the team. You know, I'm a catcher, too.
So they tell me.
I get behind the plate, do some fancy catching. Tomorrow's pitching on my team, and a heavy hitter gets up.
Yes.
Now, the heavy hitter bunts the ball. When he bunts the ball, me being a good catcher, I want to throw the guy out of first base, so I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's all you have to do.
Is to throw the ball at first base.
Yes.
Now, who's got it?
Naturally.
Look, if I throw the ball at first base, somebody's got to get it. Now, who has it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
Naturally?
Naturally.
So I pick up the ball and I throw it to Naturally.
No, you don't. You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's different.
That's what I said.
You're not saying
I
that.
throw the ball to Naturally.
You throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
That's what I said.
Listen, you ask me.
I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Now you ask me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
Same as you.
Don't change them around.
Same as you.
Go ahead, now get it over.
I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball and the guy runs a second.
Yes.
Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What throws it to? I don't know. I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play.
Yes.
Another guy gets up and it's a long fly ball to because. Why? I don't know. He's on third and I don't give a darn.
What?
I said I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
I mean,
Come on.